Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is so exciting. I have been waiting to get this and film this video because this was love at first sight. When I saw it today, I'm going to be sharing and using for the first time the new Patrick Ta blush palette for the holidays. I got this the first time it was in stock on Sephora, unfortunately. Today it was in stock. I just checked again and now it's out of stock again, but I still wanted to post this video. I thought about using this palette just in another video, doing my makeup or integrating it some other way, but I thought, no way, this palette deserves its own video. It's that beautiful. So that's what we're going to be doing today. If you're new here, my name is Blair. I do all kinds of beauty content here on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into the video. I'm going to start by showing you some swatches and close-ups of the palette, and then we'll get into application. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I hope you enjoyed those swatches. When I tell you I've been excited to try out a product, I can't even describe how excited I am to try this out, because if you've been watching my videos for a while, you'll probably know Patrick Ta Beauty is really one of my top high-end brands. I love the eyeshadow palette, I love the brow products, and I love the blushes. Oh, I love the cream bronzer and contour as well. I love so many of their products, but I have always loved, ever since I got them, these were love at first use, the cream and powder blush duos. So I have two of them. This is She's That Girl, excuse me. So this is a really pretty bright pink. So his blushes come with, or the duos come with a cream and a powder. He did come out with just powder blushes originally, and then he came out with the duos. But this is She's That Girl. This is my favorite one of the two that I own. He has 4 different shades in these. I have 2 of the 4. The second one that I have is Oh She's Different, and this is definitely more of a wine berry color, which for this time of year I really love as well. These are so beautiful. I will swatch these for you as well. And one of the things I love about these blushes is his formula is, number one, very sheer, but it's buildable. So this is Oh She's Different. So we have the cream and the powder. I love that they are buildable because some people don't want a really intense blush look. Some people love it, some people hate it. So if you have a formula like this that's sheer, but you can build it up, it makes it good for everyone. And the colors in the original range are so good. All of them are good. I want all 4, but I only have 2 of the 4 as of right now. But these are fantastic, highly recommend. So that's Oh She's Different. And then this is the one I use the most. This is, why can't I remember it? She's That Girl. And oh my gosh, these are so, so beautiful. So this is She's That Girl, and this is Oh She's Different. So this one is definitely more of a wine kind of berry color, and then this is more of a classic pink. Something else that I love about these is you can layer them on top of each other interchangeably. So you can do powder and then cream, or the typical cream with powder on top. So this formula works well either way. Okay, so today we're going to use the blush palette, and as you have seen, there are 3 different shades in here, and these are different than his original shades that he came out with. So you have this bright poppy pink, which is She's a Doll. Then you have She's Vibrant and She's Baked. Yeah, which is this one up here. So, so beautiful. I know some people have been wondering about this She's a Doll shade and if it's similar to She's That Girl, if you have it already. So I figured I would swatch that for you just next to each other so you can see them. The swatches I've seen online definitely look different in my opinion, and now that I see it in person, I definitely agree. So the one in the blush palette, She's a Doll, is more of kind of a blue toned pink, a little more of a cooler kind of Barbie pink, whereas She's That Girl is a little warmer, a little more of a peachy pink. So they are different, if you were wondering. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and apply these now. I cannot wait. I think I'm gonna do the pink and the coral first. So She's a Doll and She's Vibrant, and then I'll have to take them off and go back and use this because I only have 2 cheeks, obviously. So we're gonna go in with the pink She's a Doll first. And with this one, I'm gonna do what he says to do, which is use powder with cream on top. I've seen him say several times that really, something about using the cream over the powder, you get a lot more dimension and texture with the finish on your skin. So we'll see how that works today. So as you can see, okay, these are very pigmented. Like I just barely dipped my brush in that pink powder and you can see a lot came off. So if you're scared of the blush, you can always pick some up like this and then kind of tap it off on your hand. But I'm gonna go into the left cheek with this and just lightly apply it, okay? And this is the Smashbox Buildable Cheek Brush. I really like this when I don't want to overkill with the blush. It's a very wispy blush brush. But as you can see, this one is very pigmented because I didn't use a lot of product. I tapped some of it off on my hand before I went into my cheek. And that's what it looks like, but it's very, very pretty. It kind of reminds me of Bobbi Brown Pale Pink, which I recently got, and I love that one so much. So that is beautiful, but now we're gonna layer some of the cream on top. Some people like to use a sponge with creams. I like that, but I actually prefer to use a brush if I were choosing. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna use this brush. This is just one of my Smashbox blurring foundation brushes. I have a few of these. So I'm gonna go right into the cream and you can see it on the brush there. Again, if you're nervous about it, just tap some off on your hand and you can always go back and get more if you need it. But I'm just gonna tap very lightly over the powder. And I did have bronzer on today. I used my Milani Silky Matte Bronzer. And I did set my face with some powder just to see how this worked if you set your face. But there it is with a very light layer. I did not apply very much, but you can see it applied really well over the powder, which is not typically what you think of with cream blushes. At least to me, I always think of using cream blush and then putting a powder on top. But with these, you actually can, and hopefully you can see. It's very pretty, very skin-like, very natural. You still get that kind of radiant glow, which I love. I'm gonna go in with just like one tap more. Because obviously you can go in with as little or as much as you want, but I'm just gonna lightly kind of go over it again. And it's so pretty, oh my gosh. Okay, so that was She's a Doll. Next, I will use the She's Vibrant, so the corally color. And I'm gonna use this same brush. I feel like this is a really good brush to make sure I don't get too much, because this one is definitely pretty pigmented. I will say, just based on using this first color, I feel like this powder is a little more pigmented than the powders in the single duos, because I feel like when I use the pink powder in like She's That Girl, it's not that vibrant, but it could also be that that's just a really bright poppy pink, so that could be the case as well. So I'm just going to kind of clean this brush off with a little shadow swatch here. And now we're going to go into She's Vibrant, and we'll do, well, I guess we could do cream first on this side. So I'll use the same brush. I just kind of clean that one off as well, and we'll go in with the cream first. So She's Vibrant. Very, very pretty. Adding just a bit more. So there's the cream on She's Vibrant. Very, very pretty. Somewhat similar to She's a Doll. This one is just a little more coral. Has a little more of that orangey kind of tone to it. But we'll see what the difference is when I go in with the powder. So we're gonna do that next. And I'm just gonna take one tap. And now I'm just gonna tap this on and kind of blend upward. This brush, you guys, if you want a really good brush that applies products very, very lightly, this from Smashbox is a really good one. Okay. So I'm going in a little heavier so you can really see it on or in the video. So there it is. I just turn the brightness down a little bit so maybe you can see a bit better. So that She's Vibrant, and that is She's a Doll. Very, very pretty. They both applied beautifully. It made no difference with putting the powder on first or the cream on first. They both went on very, very well. So yes, the finish of them looks just like his original duos. The only difference I would say is they do seem to be more pigmented in the powder form in this palette. Something else I wanted to mention, if you ever go in with something like a blush in particular and you just kind of want to tone it down a bit, you can either take a damp sponge, you can take a brush with no product on it and just kind of go over it very lightly, and that will take off like any major excess you have on your face. And if it's still too much, you can always go in with a sponge. That'll help too. Okay, so first impression is these are beautiful. Love it. Definitely, I would say if you're similar skin tone to me, I would recommend just going in with a light hand. Make sure you probably aren't going to want to go in with a super dense blush brush with the powder. The cream, I think you'd be fine, but the powders are very, very pigmented. They're very bright. So less is going to be more. Although I will say I like that they did that with this palette because there's only one color story in this, and because they're so vibrant, this is going to work for so many different skin tones, which is so important. That is something that's usually lacking with face palettes, is you need multiple palettes with multiple color stories in order to work for different skin tones. With this, I feel like these are going to work for a lot of people, which is awesome. Okay, I'm about to go take these off, but I wanted to show you one more time. So this is She's Vibrant on this side, and we did cream first and then the powder. And then this is She's a Doll, and we did the powder first and then the cream on top. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to remove this from my cheeks and not ruin the rest of my makeup so I can use the last shade, so I'll be right back. That was actually much easier than I thought. I just took a makeup wipe and kind of wiped this area off and just kind of went back over it with some foundation and a little bit of the same bronzer. So now we're gonna use the last one here, and this one is called She's Baked, and very, very beautiful. It kind of reminded me of She's So LA, which is one of his cream and powder duos in the original collection. So we're gonna go into the powder. So like I said, it looks like She's So LA kind of, but not really. She's So LA looks like a little more of a bronzy kind of color. This almost looks mauve-y, almost has like a reddish undertone. But anyway, I'm gonna go in with the powder first. I was looking up close before I took off the other two colors, and to me, they both looked the same in terms of like the finish and just how they looked on my skin. They looked about the same on both sides, so I don't necessarily think it really matters which one you do first, just kind of a personal preference. There is the powder. I'll add just a bit more. Yeah, so this one almost has like I'm trying to think of how to describe it, almost looks like a sunburn. It's like slightly kind of reddish looking on your skin. It's the only way I can think to describe it. But again, very pretty. Now we'll go in and top it with the cream, which is up here, and I'm going to use a different brush this time. This is what I use for foundation. It's the BK Beauty 106. And I'm just going to, pounce this on over. And that is what it looks like. Let me turn the brightness down again and see if you can see it any better. Really, really pretty. It definitely has a little bit of a pinky look to it because my cheeks underneath are irritated from me rubbing that makeup off, which is normal for me. So if you see like pinkness right here, that's just my skin underneath kind of peeking through. I don't have on a full coverage foundation today. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right there. But if you look like up in this area, you kind of see more of that reddish undertone. Super pretty. I don't have anything like that color in my collection, which I really like. So we'll quickly do the other side. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll do the powder first. Definitely though, if you have a fair skin tone, like your skin is even lighter than mine, I think you can use this, but I think you're just gonna have to be really careful unless you want like a really, really intense look, because it is very, very poppy is how I would describe it. The colors are very poppy. So Just keep that in mind when you're applying. But like I said, if you ever go in and apply too much, just use a sponge or your foundation brush and kind of go over it, and you can easily kind of tone it down. Oh, you guys, this blush formula, I can't say enough good things about it. I hate to tell you you need to go out and buy this palette. Number one, because it's expensive. It's $58. I believe his normal blushes, the duos, let me look it up and tell you. I can't remember what they retail for. Okay, so his normal blushes are $34. So if you buy one of these, you'll pay $34 for a cream and a powder. But I can tell you just by looking at these pan sizes are a little bit smaller on these three. So you get less product with this, but you get 3 colors, which is really nice to have. And this, like I said, is $58. I'm so sad. When I was about to start filming again, I looked this up on Sephora. It was in stock this morning. I think they had restocked it either last night or early this morning, and now it's out of stock again. So I was so excited. I was like, oh, this is the perfect day to put this video up because it restocked today. Let me check his website real quickly and see if it's no. It still says coming soon on the website, so it looks like it hasn't been restocked there either. I'm assuming they will restock this again since we're only in October still, and this is a holiday launch. So I hope they will restock it, but I know it's limited edition. So what I would say is put your email in on Sephora or on the Patrick Ta website. I think some people have codes actually for Patrick Ta that you can save 15%. I don't have one. I wish I did, but I don't. So if you want it, put your email in and they can notify you when it restocks. I will try to watch it, and when it does restock, I will post it on my community tab or on my YouTube page. So keep that in mind. You don't need this palette. You don't have to have it. I'm not telling you to go out and buy it. I don't ever want to be that channel that tells you you need to buy everything, because you don't. The reality is, if you want one of these blushes and you can't spend $58 on this palette right now, that is fine. Just wait, and when you can, buy one of his individuals for $34 and you'll love it just as much. So don't feel the FOMO that I know happens, and I know I probably contribute to it sometimes. I'm sorry, I also fall to FOMO from YouTube sometimes, but I had to do this video because for me, this was a no-brainer purchase because I love Patrick Ta and I love the blushes anyway. But I did just want to put that out there, that please don't feel like you have to buy anything. You don't. This is just, if you're interested, I wanted to give you my review so you could at least see it in action and decide if you want to spend the money on it. I will put the link down below, even though it's sold out as of right now, but who knows, when you're watching this, it may be restocked. So definitely check the link below if you are curious, and put your email in if you want to be notified when it restocks. And that is going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. Overall, as I predicted, I adore this. I love it. I will 100% use this. This just makes me happy. Just to open this up and look at it, like, it almost brings tears to my eyes, as weird as that sounds, but it's just, this is one of my favorite makeup products in my collection, and now here they are, 3 of them in a palette. It's just so beautiful. So I personally love it. I think the colors are beautiful. Just keep in mind they're very pigmented, especially the powders. So if you do not want an intense look, try to use a light hand or use a fluffy brush like this. If you go in with too much, just use a damp sponge or your foundation brush, and you can always kind of tone it down. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which color do you like best? I like them all, as I predicted. I think they're all beautiful. And yeah, let me know if you're interested in the palette, if you have bought it, if you want to buy it, let us know. in the comments. Thank you so much for being here and supporting my channel. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on YouTube. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair01. I'll see you guys in my next video. Remember, simply be you. Bye.
Sunday morning, waking up with you. We got no plans, we got nothing.